Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Azeem's journey towards his next role in the ServiceNow ecosystem. We are doing a progress review episode where we're going to review his current progress, discuss those key factors when we're deciding if we're going to update our plan or our approach, and then how are we going to update that plan and approach, and then also how do we maintain momentum. We'd like to discuss a few tips around that. So, welcome, Azeem. Thank you so much for joining me again here with this podcast episode. And, we've got a fun thing to start talking about today because finally we met in person.
Yes.
So, yeah, yes, it was lovely to meet you and your wife at the Canadian Federal Forum in Ottawa. So, in mid June, I flew to Toronto. I visited a client on the Monday, then some family on Tuesday. Wednesday, I took a train from Toronto to Ottawa, which was lovely. And then Thursday, we had the big federal forum, which was a day-long event put on by ServiceNow. They had some great keynotes and some speeches opening, some great workshops as well. And then finally, they ended with a closing speech, I guess you'd call it, with David Usher. He's a Canadian musician and also owns his own AI company. So during that time, yeah, we finally got to meet. So it was a pleasure to meet you.
Same
And
here. It was
yeah,
pleasure to see you. And finally, I like the joke you made, like you are human. So yeah,
yeah,
finally.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, I did. In
Yeah.
this world of AI, sometimes it's hard to know what is
Yes.
trustworthy. So I went like this on his shoulder and said, "I'm real and you're real." Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
mhm.
I think it's great, like how tight ServiceNow community is within Canada. Like everybody kind of know each other, and then I think it's complementing each other. Like you get inspired seeing people, their enthusiasm and the encouragement they bring. So I would like to mention that, like I think I'm starting in July my CTA cohort, and I would not have made up my mind without yours. And also, I like to mention Glenn, how you guys encouraged me and guided me through the process and encouraged me that go for it. So I'm really thankful, ServiceNow and ServiceNow community, how we help each other, how we pump each other to go for it and achieve, which initially I thought like you feel overwhelming and you think it's like very hard to achieve, but we encourage each other and take small step and move towards it. So really love it. So
Oh, that's great. And congratulations on getting into the CTA program.
thank
I
you.
totally understand the imposter syndrome feelings that you may be going through because I went through that exact same thing. I know that the CTA is something that I'm happy to help you
Yeah.
with. I didn't go through that specific program, but I'll help where I can. And if if I can't help out, then I do know other CTAs that I can reach out to and help you with that journey. It is a lot of work, but I do believe that if you put the time and the effort in, you
Mhm.
can get there. And that's really about seizing an opportunity in front of you as well. So you, getting into that program is challenging. Not everybody gets accepted. There's a limited number of seats, and
Mhm.
the number of applicants is quite high. So, congrats on getting through that. And they may be making changes to the program in the future for the application process, but you know, you're in a spot to go move forward and to get something new for yourself, and
Mhm.
I think that's great.
Great. Thank you.
So, what else did you think of Canadian Forum while we're talking about it a bit?
I think audience were great. Sponsors were there, so you get to see our Canadian ServiceNow ecosystem. A huge presence from ServiceNow team as well. They flew over a lot of employees from US, and I think I met one or two, Alex and some other director. They came from UK as well. So huge presence from ServiceNow side as well. Very good presentation. And the other thing which actually from our organization, OSFI, and CFI, Canadian Food Inspection Agency, together they created in Ottawa community of practice, which is a great thing that they share best practices, and to do or not to do, which practices are good or which are not.
Hmm.
So community of practice has been formed in the Canadian platform in the federal level. All the I think it's so far, if I'm not mistaken, already there are 32 federal clients are already became member. And
Hmm.
when we did our first meeting 2 3 weeks ago, there were 80 participants joined in
Oh,
that
wow.
meeting. So that is great. Lot of good presentation, and some of the workshop which we had was really good. So really loved
Hmm.
it. And the, the highlight of the day was to seeing you, being my
Oh.
being seeing my mentor there in person. So I know we talk a lot and we did the
Hmm.
past podcast, but actually putting real face to the person and meeting them in person is also one of the highlight of that
Yes.
day as well. So,
That was one of the highlights for me too. And next time I look forward to breaking bread with you. So
yeah,
that'll be great. You spoke of the community of practice for the Canadian federal government. That is incredible. And I do some work also for a government client, and I have seen the COP emails circling around. So it is getting a lot of traction within all of the different agencies, and I think it's going to benefit a lot of people and a lot of implementation. So that's very
yes,
cool to be a part of it.
yes,
And yeah, to have 80 people in that first meeting is a great kickoff. Usually they'll
yeah,
start off with 3 people. So,
yeah.
so let's move into talking about the current progress. So we've gone through the mock interviews, talking about working with recruiters. We've looked at the resume review, setting our goals, and things like that. How do you feel things have been progressing on your side?
I think it's getting great progress. First of all, like I was wondering, like sometime when you apply and you do not get notice or any reply or feedback. So one of the encouragement with our guest speakers, they told us like don't get like lose hope, because if you like how Robert was mentioning in our conversation, that if you, let's say, send your resume to 10 different positions, you might only heard from one of them.
Mhm.
So I think I made great progress in a way that after I fixing my resume and polish up my interview skills, although I'm not looking for a job, but once in a while, if something interests me, I'll on and off send my resume, and I immediately get response. So which is great. So I think since doing the podcast, I got brush up my skills for marketing, or like I would say I know the tricks now how to sell myself. Now I'm more confident when I'm talking. And another thing which I picked up during our Albasi's episode, and also from the Glenn, that say no, be honest, have the courage that if you do not know something, just say it instead of mumbling and saying something which does not make sense. That will put confidence of your interviewer on you, because you being honest upfront with them. Like uh, I can say that right now I don't know about this, but I have the resources, community resources, doc sets available for me, and I can quickly look for it. And ServiceNow is a platform where they provide great resource. They have a partners portal. They have doc sets. They have a community where you can ask the question if you are not sure. So be honest upfront, and I think progress has been great. I got the encouragement before when I was doing. I did through my golden ticket. I think when we started the podcast, I was at eight certificate. After we did it, I added four more under my belt because my golden ticket was expiring. So I was reaching at a point where I thought that I'm keep on doing these certification, but it might not help me. But after talking to you, Chris, you encourage me. You says while you have the chance, do it, because getting certification is one thing and getting experience is one thing. So some people get experience and then get certification. In my case, it was kind of other way around, but you
Yep.
encouraged me and I did it because it was available for me and I went ahead with it. And same thing, like I mentioned in the opening statement as well, that then I was excited about CTA. And I applied. I got accepted, but then suddenly I was having the adrenaline rush that will that fit for me? Is it good for me or no? I was in a very peculiar situation where few people told me not to go for it. You are too early for that. But talking to you, you encouraged me. You told me that go for it. And the kind of my previous background with ITIL master and process designing,
Hmm.
I don't fit see myself more fit into development or that type of role, but more as a process designer or technical architect. I think that's where I best fit in, and I think CTA will go a long way for me to establish my career in service now practice as a technical architect, where I can go in design the process. And you encourage me, and I'm really glad that I had a mentor like you
Oh,
who
well, thank you. And, I still believe, all those things that I shared with you. So just want to recap a couple things. Yes, you're not actively looking for a job outside of your current Canadian government organization. If there's a position that opens up, you can move into it. Yeah, that's kind of what your goal is. But we're framing these episodes around a more open, um, job application process. So where we're assuming or pretending that you would apply anywhere and everywhere for these types of roles. Now, you had mentioned the pieces on the certification journey. So, even just recently, I was providing some advisory services on hiring some people that are, going to be coming in and doing some ITSM work. And we are looking, I had even said to everybody, that if they can prove that they can do the work but they don't have the certification, that doesn't automatically, exclude them from consideration. That doesn't mean that certs don't matter. They certainly do. We were looking in this case for a specific person that could do a few different things and had a different language skill as well. So that's a real world thing that we have communicated and used, and I've provided that advice in a real situation. And your certification journey, yeah, you've got more than I do when it comes to the main lines, and then when you throw CTA on that, that'll be 13. But um, you took advantage and made the most out of that golden ticket. And just to remind people what that is, the golden ticket was a 1 year free pass from ServiceNow to take any and all on demand courses that you could through Now Learning and get certified. So, I received one when I went to Knowledge 2023. I did give it to somebody to help them with their ServiceNow journey. But I kind of would have taken the same approach as you if I had used it on for myself. Is even if I wasn't going to use it, I had a year to maximize the value out of that golden ticket and get as many certifications as I could. And from there, I would then look to different areas of the platform to start building that experience so that I have the certification and the experience. And that's kind of the same journey you had. And then with the CTA, that is like I said earlier, a tough program to get into. There are minimum requirements to even apply. So to get into that realm as soon as possible, as soon as you qualified, which you have, That means that other people believe that you're ready. Some people will say, "Oh no, you don't have to, you can't," and that might be true for their path. But I would see this that could be a missed opportunity in the future, and you may not get accepted to a new cohort in 2 years if you wait, or even a year. So to go through it now while you have the chance, while you're accepted, will help you, I believe, to take that next step as well. Especially hearing that your goal is to end up as, like a business process architect that also has the technical and the presentation skills to not only design the overall business process, but to communicate it effectively and to communicate the value it will achieve effectively with not only the people that you're working with and that those that are implementing it, but also with the leadership team who are the ones that are paying to have it implemented.
Yes.
So that's great. Well, I'm glad that you're doing good with the progress. Also, want to make sure that we mentioned the last episode where we had people who succeed come on, and these are two guests that had already gone and gotten that job that we're looking to achieve, and they provided tons of real world advice that worked for them. And we're going to have a few of those tips resurface as well. Okay. You also said the Canadian ServiceNow community is quite strong, and it is. It's very strong. So is the community all over. So I just want to shout out to Philadelphia, people, anyone in Philadelphia that I know in the ServiceNow ecosystem. I think I met a few people at Oscar in at Knowledge, but shout out to everybody in Philadelphia. And I'm a big Penguins fan, so a little bit of hockey trolling right there because that's not the Flyers. So let's talk a bit about some of the key factors that you're using when you're deciding to pivot or change your plan, because right down in the middle of this, there's been a major change. So the big change that we're talking about, of course, is being accepted into that CTA program. This is a 3-month intensive program. It's a big commitment, not just from time and effort, but also from a financial standpoint. So, what factors did you consider when you were making the decision whether or not to move forward or not with the CTA program?
When I completed my prerequisite and I applied for the program, and I got the email that I'm accepted for the program, then the first thing was the financial commitment, like you mentioned, whether it's worth it or no, because right now it's 7,000 US dollar. I was about to pay that out of my pocket. So I was uh, doing pros and cons. Was that worth it for me or not? The second thing was that if the CTA will be good for me as a career path. So when I talk to you and also talk to Glenn and also Paul McNamara from PAMT, uh, you guys are the senior folks I know and always looking for your guidance. So when I talk to you, and first thing you told me that this will be a path where you will do mostly presentation, you will brush up on your presentation skill, you will present this solution, you will lead the team of developers and BAs to implement. So that type of role in my previous as an ITIL expert or ITIL master, I was designing the ITSM processes, even for BMC remedy or BMC footprints era in that time, before ServiceNow was even existed or became that popular within the IT industry. So I had that background. Like, I'm not a coder or developer by the training. I had a finance and management degree. So then when I talk to you, talk to Glenn and Paul, then it kind of clicked my mind in a way that that type of certification or that type of path makes sense for me, because I'm a process designer or solution consultant instead of sitting down and writing a code for that particular solution. So if I have to lead the team of developer or business process consult business analysts to write up those stories for my technical team and talk to stakeholder and translate that into tech language, I think that's the bridge I can be, and I can perform that type of job really well. That's my strong point. That actually kind of made my mind to go for it, and then I made my final decision. Plus also I like to mention that through the financial commitment, I was a bit also hesitant. I didn't have that much of money sitting with me to pay in one shot. But then my wife, she's also starting her service now career. She did her CSA and CAD, and she's looking for her first service now job, and she encouraged me as well, because she's been to ServiceNow Snugs and World Forum, so she has seen the value of CTA or CMA certifications, the expert program. So she like your partner, if she goes along with you and encourage you, she says go for it. Don't worry about the cost. We know that we will make it once you've done your certification. And she believed in me, so she encouraged me. So that was another motivation factor for me, that I'm getting a support from home as well. So
Hmm.
then I made my mind. And
Oh well, that's wonderful. I also had a lot of support from my partner. She also was incredible when it came to that whole journey. Not and also the same with the financial piece. So I also paid for my CMA course by myself. That was 15,000 at the time US. Plus, then you have to fly to and stay for a week at the kickoff week in
yes,
at the ServiceNow office. So it was a significant
yes,
investment. I had set the goal of applying for CMA 18 months prior.
okay,
So I baked that into my financial plan. And that was actually also the time when I discussed it with my partner so that we could work towards that goal together. And, I look forward to supporting any career journey that she wants to go on as well. So,
yeah.
we've also had those same discussions. So that's wonderful that you have not only the professional support, but also the personal support that you need to take on something like this because it is a big endeavor. It is.
Yes.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of decided to move forward with this and things like that, how are you updating your plan or your approach now? Like, are you going to kind of put the job search stuff on hold until the course is done? Are you going to keep going through while you're in the course?
So right now, my plan is to focus on the study get, because I have the stability at my work. I'm used to what I'm doing. I'm comfortable in my job. So during this time, obviously, like you mentioned, that it's a good program, but it's a tough program as well. It requires commitment. So at this point of time, I don't want any like extra disturbance or extra effort on somewhere else where I need to put more effort towards my studies. So I'm kind of keeping low and focusing on my mindset towards the CTA. Let these 12 weeks pass smoothly, as smooth as possible, to get over with it. So once I done that through, so like right from the beginning of this journey, like I mentioned that I love being as a public servant working for the federal government, and I would love to explore uh, like opportunities within my organization. I like I actually had a talk with my director as well, that I want to be kind of ServiceNow platform owner or something like that type of position if available. I would love to do that. So that's my current future like goal is that stay where I am and just focus on finishing my studies, and then let's see where the journey takes me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's exciting. And it speaks to how life can throw a curveball, and you need to adjust and still try to hit it. And it sounds like you're doing just that in you're going to put the active or the intensive job hunt piece on hold so that you can divert all of that energy into this program that you didn't, 6 months ago this was not all part of the plan, and now it is dictating the plan for at least a few months, and that's okay. So if you're listening in and you're going through something similar, maybe it's not related to a new program or something along those lines, but maybe something from life has happened and you need to divert energy, that's okay. Go ahead and do that, but make sure that you have evaluated as many key factors as you can related to your situation. And then you need to update your plan so that you can keep checking against something to make sure that you're still on track. So that's fantastic. And I also, kind of heard you mention a bit there where you've spoken to people within your organization, you've communicated clearly what you are looking to do in the future so that they can do anything on their side to help you get there. And that's going to speak into the next part about how we're going to maintain momentum. So, the first tip that we've got for you is that you want to strengthen your network of support. And this can be various people and various roles. So, you can have a mentor, you can, have other people in the technical community or the ServiceNow ecosystem help you out. But also you need leadership that, the people that you work with and report to, or maybe your boss's 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 boss, if you can get a meeting with them, or, as high up as you can go to communicate what you're looking to achieve so that they can see how to help you get there. And this speaks especially true to the federal government or something, a large organization where it may take a long time for a position like that to either A, open up and become available because someone has moved on to something and that spot is now open, or in some cases, they can even create a new position, and then you can fill that. However, there's union concerns and things that need to be evaluated alongside that. So sometimes it can take years for this position to open up or become available for you. So getting in front of it early on and letting people know within the organization you're in is a great way to do that. And then finally, you can strengthen the network of support that you have in your personal life as well to make sure that you've got all of those pillars as steady and as solid as you can have them so that you can kind of focus on this goal and work towards it. So the next one that we've got is tip is that we want to break things down, break that search down into small steps, and you want to set those limits. So now your search is broken down to 0 steps right now for a job, but you're going to break down your next set of goals. So, your next goal is let's set that plan and update it, and then let's start preparing for that CTA program. So, there's some side skills that you could focus on earlier on. PowerPoint is a great tool. I could do very basic PowerPoint, and it took me a long time. I took a PowerPoint course during CMA, my CMA course. That helped me a lot, especially when you think of the exam. So the exam for the CMA, and I'm not sure if it's the same for the CTA to be honest, but for the CMA, you get a case study. You have 3 hours to come up with an entire PowerPoint presentation. That's a 1 hour presentation, and then you have to give it. So over the course of 4 hours, you have to do all of this. So 3 hours to review. So I took about an hour to review the case study, 2 hours to build my presentation, and then I had an hour to present. So if I hadn't gone through that PowerPoint course, there's no way I would have been done my presentation to give it. So there's more skills to add to this that will help you out. So you can break those down into small steps. And then also you got to set your limits. like you said earlier, you weren't sure the value was there for you right now for that CTA program. So setting limits on even some of these smaller things, like I wouldn't say go take an office course because learning Word, Access, and Excel is not going to help you right now for that CTA, which is your main focus. So something that's focused on PowerPoint would. Is that ringing true?
Yes, makes sense. Yeah, great advice.
Yeah. Next up, you have to acknowledge and celebrate some of the work that you've put in and some of the achievements that you have. So if you've gotten a new certification, all the way up to being accepted for CTA, you need to pause and celebrate that with those in your life. So congratulations. Very happy for you, proud of you. I think that it's fantastic, and shout out to also your wife and your family for being there and supporting you through this. And now you know that next time that you can help support her in her journey too. So I
That-
see that that's coming along, and it doesn't have to even be a large achievement like this one. Sometimes I break it down and celebrate a small win because I got some code to work, or I successfully designed or designed a small piece that kind of made somebody's life better. I just a couple weeks back I built what eventually turned into kind of a simple workspace, but it really helped the people using it. So it took me probably 3 or 4 hours to build it, test it, show them, get it working, get it into prod. But that was a huge win for them because it changed their day-to-day operation. So that was another one that I celebrated. So please don't think that it's got to be something massive or a big, huge career or life-changing thing. It can be something small day to day.
yeah, great
Okay.
advice. Thank you.
During that celebration too, or even before or after it, you got to learn to take breaks. And I'm not saying you're not doing that, but just everybody out there, remember that sometimes that one afternoon off on the weekend or whatever can help you come back more refreshed, more focused, and then you're more effective. Okay. Sounds like you're staying engaged with the things that you care about, and that should be actually more than just work life. So keeping up with your hobbies or any of your other interests. I focus on a few other things outside of service now that I'm personally interested in, and I enjoy doing it and investing that time and energy. So make sure that you're doing that as well, so that it's not just all of that singular focus, especially when you consider what CTA is going to demand of you to go through that course.
Yeah.
Also, try to remember that everybody's unique. We've spoken on your journey, which is unique, especially when you factor in the golden ticket, when you factor in that you're not looking for a job from anywhere, you're looking for a specific job within your organization, and that job or role may not currently exist. So your journey is unique. If you're listening in and Azeem's stuff is not where you're headed or not where you want, try to look at the principles that we're talking about here and see how those could apply to your journey. Any questions on those ones so far?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much for great
Yeah.
advice.
Okay. So we'll keep going through. There's a few more. You need to look forward to holding yourself accountable. So sometimes you're the only one that's walking this journey, especially if it's a new journey for you, and you haven't really built a network of support just yet. Or perhaps your network of support is purely support and not accountability. So if you're in that position, you need to learn how to set a goal and then hold yourself accountable to attaining that goal or working towards it. This doesn't mean that, oh, I set a goal for the end of July and I didn't achieve it. If that's the case, that's fine. Forgive yourself, move on, and also look to learn why didn't you get that goal. Maybe it was because you set too tight of a timeline. Maybe something else came up that was more important, like you got into CTA. So, holding yourself accountable doesn't mean you beat yourself up if you don't achieve it. It means you look at why you didn't achieve it, and then you also go forward from there and improve each time. It's also great to help serve others, and this helps strengthen your network of support. And serving others can be as simple as just an introduction and listening to their story. Everywhere I go, everybody has such an interesting and incredible story, and they're all different because everybody's unique. So it's great to be that person who can share and learn about others, and then sometimes you see synergies where you both can work together and move forward. Try to get out and have some fun, even with the platform, or explore new areas of it that you're enjoying to build your skill set, but also to kind of spark some new creativity within it. See if you can leverage any transferable skills like your ITIL process and your ITIL skills. Those all transfer over into that business process architect and that CTA space. So you're coming in with a separate foundation that again I don't have. I took ITIL V3 foundation, and that's it. I think I took continuous service improvement, but I never took the test on that one. So you've got some of these transferable skills. Make sure that you identify them, and they don't even have to be IT. They can be soft skills. They can be interpersonal or relationship building skills. And like you said earlier, you've learned more skills around selling yourself in the resume and the interview pieces that we've gone through. Keep learning, of course, is one of the big ones. You're doing that also with the CTA. And then finally, we all have to keep staying positive and keep taking action. That is the resilience piece. Like you had said earlier, you might apply for 10 places to 10 jobs, and you might only get one response. In some cases, even in our last episode, someone that was successful in achieving her role, that got the job she was looking for, she had to put in over 70 applications and she got 4 responses. So you need to keep going, keep taking the action, and stay at it. Myself as well, I continually am looking for things like that to take action towards, working on my plan to build where I want to go, and to make sure that I'm also open to pivoting and changing as life happens. So that concludes the tips portion. Is there any closing thoughts that you have, Zee, or any questions that you want to discuss while we're here?
No, I think it's a great advice, and I think life is a continuous process, and I strongly believe that you don't uh, like the example I when I did my ITEL expert, a lot of people thought me that's the end of it. Don't That's the last certificate you might have done, but then I found out there is a ITEL master as well, so I did that. Same thing when I started off my ServiceNow journey. Excuse me. I did CSA, I did application development, and then there was implementation certification, and I got golden tickets, and I keep on doing it. I remember some person reach out to me and they said like, you can be only do 1 or 2 implementation certification, that is enough. But for me, I had that opportunity, and I wanted, just like how you mentioned, that I wanted to explore the other side of the platform as well. So my curiosity led me to do more or study more. So I think keep improving, keep learning, and I think that's how the life is, and
Mm-hmm.
strongly believer of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great to also acknowledge that what worked for you and is working for you in your journey is going to be different. So, my journey is not going through and getting 12 mainline certifications, and that's just because my journey is different than yours. That doesn't make it better, that doesn't make it worse, that doesn't make yours better or worse. You had that unique opportunity and you seized it. And perhaps if that person who had provided that advice, saying you only need 1 or 2, had a golden ticket themselves and had that 1 year timeline to go through and take as many courses as they could for free, then perhaps they might have shifted their goals as well. So when we're providing that advice, I'm always trying to be as empathetic as possible, put myself in your shoes and go, what would I do, if I was Azeem? And I had a job a great job already that was very stable, that I enjoyed. I enjoyed working with the people. Then I would want to say, okay, I'm looking for this role within the same organization. So now I've got time to invest in my off hours to learn and grow and get these certifications, and I only have 1 year to do it. Right. So your CATA program is 3 months, so that's another intense journey that's coming up, and very excited to see how this goes and where it takes you. So congratulations on that, and congratulations to your wife too on her recent certification journey as well. So I believe you said earlier she just received one.
Yeah, so she done
Yes.
her application development as well. So now she's has two CSA and CAD as
Oh,
well. So
oh, and the CAD. Oh, Certified Application Developer.
yes,
Nice, nice. That's awesome. Well, congrats out there, and we look forward to continuing the journey, and we will hopefully be able to have a couple new exciting episodes with some guests next month. So thank you so much, Azeem. Have a
thank you
great
very
day,
much.
and we will talk soon, and hopefully break bread even sooner.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.